what are your top lessons in leadership that you feel help entrepreneurs most from just your experience today?
You said it right now, and I want to make sure I capture this for people that are listening to it, is taking action. And I think that is it's a cliche, but it's also a very underutilized attribute. People get caught up in the moment and they worry about the future of the outcome. And so that basically freezes them up when they're facing a challenge or a problem they need to be solved, like the pandemic hitting. If you're not ready for things like that and you don't just take some action, you're going to end up losing. And you're right. Business is shutting down as livelihoods for other people. It could be life and death for some people who are depending on that business to thrive. So what I would say is the military specifically, what I really love about it is that it's all about acting. And there's the special operations pipelines and the training courses and the things that, even I did in the unit I served in, was there a lot of times they put you in these situations where the problem can't be solved. They want to see how you react to a problem that cannot be solved and see where your thinking goes and how you utilize the people around you. And there's another thing aspect to that is, I would say, is people also, leaders especially now more than ever, are the biggest culprits of this. Is they believe because of the leader, if they don't solve that problem, they can't figure it out, then it's not a problem that can be solved. And then they end up like sweeping it under the rug, or they ignore it instead of leaning on people in their teams, instead of relying on their senior people, even their most junior people. And I want people to take that piece of advice. Is the best part about being a leader is the fact that it's not about you, it's about them. It is about relying on them. It's about asking them, you work for them, bringing them on board when you're faced with a problem that it has a time limit. It can help you solve an unsolvable situation. And that's, to me, is like, I'm even getting chills thinking about it right now. Was we got ambushed in Iraq in 2003, and we didn't see where the ambush was coming from right off the bat, but they threw hand grenades into our mounted patrol. So we had all got out to look at the map. We pulled security, then we hear a grenade. So they threw 3 or 4 grenades into our mounted patrol, and some people immediately got hit. And it's amazing, is we had what we call as pogues, people that are personnel other than grunt. It's like an inside joke that we have with them. We had our supply NCO, we had our NBC guy. They turned around to start open fire towards the direction of where those grenades came from. So everybody just knew how to act. They took action. And then once you take action and you send rounds down range to suppress wherever that fire is coming from, what we were able to do was we were able to then problem solve and figure out, how do we now eliminate the threat? And I think what happens too sometimes is people get caught up in the proverbial gunfight in life. And what they don't do is they don't act. They panic. They retreat. They go back to their base level of performance capacity, as I like to call it. And it's because they haven't pushed themselves outside of their own proverbial comfort zones truly in anything that they've ever done to prepare themselves for leadership or running a business. They've hired coaches or resources that actually allow them to stay comfortable and give them just enough. And that is where you tend to find the failure that really kills people's dreams and kills people's momentum. And I would act. If you're getting hit with something you're unexpecting, act. Take action. Figure out how to plug your hole with the finger, and then turn around, look at people and go, hey, how do we now permanently, plug this hole? Do something rather than nothing. Action is better than doing nothing. Move. Get the hell out of, get off the X's, they say in the military. Get out of the line of fire, turn around, figure out where it's coming from, and then we can problem solve. And then that's how we complete the mission.
Yeah. And it's this, it really is that simple for so many things in life. Like, for example, the only way to start losing weight, other than your eating, is you got to move. Start moving,
right?
Even if it's a little bit, and then add to it, and so on and so on, right?
Even when you don't want to do it, that's the biggest thing. Is even when you don't want to do it, that is when you absolutely must.
Well, that's true. That's true discipline, is doing the things you know you need to do, even when you don't want to do them, right? And that's, I think, it does, but that's what it means to truly be disciplined, right? You know, so I think that's I talk about what I call the DCP formula all the time, which is discipline, consistency, and persistence. And you hear those 3 things, and it's like, duh, you need that to be successful. What do they mean, right? Discipline is just that. It's doing the things that you know that you need to do even when you don't want to do them. And the C is consistency. It's doing that day in and day out without fail, right? Because you can be
Yep.
disciplined for one day, right? That's not going to do any good. You got to do it every
Sounds
day.
good.
But even if you're disciplined and consistent, you're going to hit like these insurmountable roadblocks, these plateaus, these things that just seem like you can't make it, or you're not going to be able to overcome it. And if you're not willing to persist at that point, that's where you stagnate. That's where you plateau. That's where you're at. And
Absolutely.
so, that's what you got to do. And I kind of hear that coming through. To that point, too, kind of an offshoot from that.